Here's a quick tutorial for assignment 3. So the first step of the assignment is to run the pre-existing Python notebook. To do that, first start Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda Navigator will take a couple of seconds to start up. And sorry, I have two screens going here, so it started up on my other screen. Let me just move it over here where I'm recording. So Anaconda Navigator allows us to choose between several of the applications that come with the Anaconda. We want to start the Jupyter Notebook. So when the Jupyter Notebook starts up, it starts up in your home directory. If you don't really understand what your home directory is, please ask a question on our message board. But the code for the class should have already been loaded using GitHub to a directory that's below your home directory. So if this part is confusing to you, it will be easier to explain in writing and with screenshots. So ask a question on the class message board. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to navigate to the code. So here's my INF 428 directory, and I want to go into the Python directory. And then that has a number of notebooks. And then before I run the notebook for assignment 3, just to check if everything is working, I'm going to just quickly run one of the introduction notebooks. So I'm going to run this one here, Python notebook, hello world. So just in case you're still a little confused about how notebooks work, notebooks are just Python code organized into different cells. When we press the run button, we run a cell. So you can see we're running these. This is just Python code. Every time we press run, we run a cell. And we could add new stuff like just print hello again. And yeah, so we just ran some Python code in a cell. Now for the assignment, we want to start with a notebook that's in the data wrangling directory. And it's called Marathon Shoes. So the goal of the assignment is going to be to study some of this code, understand what it does and explain it, and then modify the code a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through all the cells and make sure they work. So I'm running through them all. It looks okay. I'm not going to explain what everything does in detail because that's part of the assignment, is just to, study some of this code. If you don't understand it, just Google things. So like this group by command. If you're not understanding what it does, Google like pandas and group by, or ask a question on the message board. And the goal of the assignment is for you to study the code and learn a bit about how it works on your own. However, another part of the assignment is to actually modify the code. And what we want to do, the code is set up to read several data files and join them together. So in the assignment, you have to add more files to the list so we can do an analysis on a larger sampling of data. And we do that by cutting and pasting. And so just like any text editor, we can highlight some code. We press Control-C on Windows to copy, and then Control-V to paste. So Control-C and Control-V. And you could probably also do it with the mouse. You could highlight code, copy, then paste. So we copy the code, but then we actually want to add another set of data. So in this case, I know there's another file called men2013.txt. And I'm going to use that as my 5th data set. So I have to change the name of the file I'm loading, then change the name of the variable that represents the data from the file after it's loaded, and add that to the list. So this line of code right here takes all the files we've loaded and joins them into one big data set. And what we can do here is, I'm just going to modify this just a bit. As the final step here, I'm going to print out the size of the data. So there's a function called shape, which will basically show the size of the data. And I'm just going to take a step back here. I'm not going to add the last step. I'm just going to play this cell. Looks good. So we have a data set that's 400 rows by 9 columns. Now I'm going to add in the fifth one. Same thing, play the cell. Oh, now we have 500. So for the assignment, what you need to do is just sort of repeat those steps for the 3 other files, just so we can do this analysis on a larger set of data. So if you have any additional questions or any of this was confusing, I'd recommend watching the data set from the beginning, stopping it as soon as you find something that has confused you, and then just ask very specific questions about that part on our Ask a Question message board. Okay,